It's been a busy week in the Inland Northwest, so let's get you caught up with the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for being here with us. Over the next half hour, we'll take a look back at some of the news you might have missed from the past week. So let's get started with one of the biggest stories from the Inland Northwest.
Jonathan Mon faces charges including attempted rape of a child and communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. Court records show he set up a sexual encounter with a teenage girl who turned out to be an undercover cop. A police report details how Mon of Liberty Lake was caught in the accused act during a trip to the battleground area. His arrest, along with 11 others, came during an internet sting dubbed Operation Battleground. WSP's Missing Exploited Children Task Force partnered with several other agencies on the multi-day effort. The police report shows Mon messaged who he thought was a teen girl, offering sexual services for money. In reality, it was an undercover detective. These are some of the actual messages logged by that officer from August 23rd. Mon asks to meet up and says he'll bring $150 and condoms. At one point, the undercover cop asks Mon, "You cool with me being younger than I said?" Mon replies, "Just tell me your legal age and leave it at that." A few minutes later, the undercover asks him, "You're cool with me being 13?" Mon replies, "You said it. I didn't ask." He also messaged, "You seem unsure about meeting," and "Want to meet or not," saying he had to meet that night because he was leaving the next day. Mon was arrested just after midnight at a meeting spot he'd arranged for a car date. The Coeur d'Alene School District confirmed to KREM 2 Mon worked there in communications and multimedia between 2019 and March 2025. Mon's due back in Clark County Court on Monday for arraignment. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
We know that you're still pretty cool, buddy.
Nick Jameson plays with his dog Alex at McEwen Park. He says the warmer weather this week's making him do more to try and have his 10-year-old pup beat the heat.
He's always been such a good boy. He's our great family dog, and we just try our best to take care of him, and periodically we bring him to the lake because he loves the water.
It's an attentiveness to his pet the city of Coeur d'Alene once emphasized during hotter days.
You can't leave your pets unattended in a vehicle when the weather's this warm.
Coeur d'Alene Police Chief Lee White says animal control officers respond to call after call of pets locked in cars by themselves.
They had seen quite a few instances of either dogs, mostly dogs, left in cars over the summertime inappropriately for long periods of time.
He says last year, animal control officers responded to 110 calls of dogs left in cars, either with the windows slightly rolled down or not at all. So far this year, he says they've responded to 58. He says that's 58 too many, and the heat and livelihood of each dog becomes a risk.
And even just a couple minutes with the windows, either all the way rolled up or even just partially cracked is way, way too hot for those dogs.
Chief White presented his findings to council members on Tuesday, asking that the current city code specifically cite the action of leaving a pet in a car as a form of animal cruelty. In the state of Idaho, leaving a dog unattended in a car is a misdemeanor citation and can come with a fine of up to $5,000 and 6 months of jail time for a first-time offense. He says the change to the city ordinance is due to the state statute not specifying the harm people can be fined for.
It doesn't specifically mention vehicles, and so an individual might be able to challenge a ticket that they receive, and so this would clear that up.
Clearing it up for the community, including Jameson and Alex as they visit from Loon Lake. He says he supports the clarity to the law and urges pet owners to take this heat wave seriously.
Take them into consideration like they're your kids. Just make sure you would take care of them like you would take care of yourself.
In Coeur d'Alene with Alex.
They don't deserve to suffer like that.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Monday, Idahoans fought for their voices to be heard.
I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, you have to open your eyes and see that things are happening that go against our Constitution. Our own Idaho congressional representatives are not listening to the people who have voted them into office.
Hundreds gathered at the Capitol steps on Labor Day, standing up for workers' rights, demanding that the federal government and Idaho's elected officials prioritize working families over wealthy donors.
65 years old, retired, never thought I'd be fighting for my country at this age.
It's time for moral courage. in our country.
Attendees of the Workers Over Billionaires rally, organized by the group Idaho 5051, say they fear the direction of the federal government and rallied against what they call a billionaire oligarchy.
This is not okay. We don't want this here. What do we want here? We want our rights.
It's time for moral courage in our country.
Those in the crowd say they want equal opportunities and basic necessities like higher wages and affordable housing.
What has now been established as kind of the working minimum wage still cannot buy a $348,000 house. Just things need to change and get away from the billionaire oligarchy.
Protesters say they'll keep fighting until representatives listen.
It's going to just take more and more people speaking up to, we just got to become the fly that eventually they're just swatting at and they can't ignore.
This is what happens when you don't listen. This is what happens when people get upset.
As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Before we get back to this week's headlines, we want to remind you, you can get the latest news and weather forecast anytime you want on KREM 2 Plus. It's our streaming app you can watch on your TV, and best of all, it's free. We hope you'll check it out, but now let's get back to the Week in Review.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, it's also important to note that while the plans for a strike have been sidelined, Meade Education Union members still have not signed this new agreement. Now, according to a press release from the Meade Education Association, this resolution has been something members have been working towards since May of this year. In August, 97% of union members voted to authorize a strike if an agreement wasn't made, meaning that they could call a strike at any moment, potentially delaying that first day of school. Now, Toby Doolittle, the president of the Meade Education Association, says in the press release, members are grateful to be starting school on time, saying, quote, "None of us wanted to walk the strike line. We want to be where our hearts are, in our classrooms with our students. Now, this agreement allows us to do that." The press release goes on to say the main point of the negotiations this time around was not about staff salaries, but rather additional support to ensure safe, inclusive classrooms for Meade students. Now, like I said earlier, school will start as planned for the Meade School District tomorrow. Members of the Meade Education Association will meet here in the coming days to officially sign that tentative agreement. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we share the district's reaction to this decision. In the newsroom, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Thousands of students are back inside the classroom all day long. We've been tracking the first day of school here in the Lilac City.
Whether it's sitting on the grass watching the sunrise,
Class of 2026, you're going to have an amazing year. Scoop it up.
or rocking out in the courtyard. Schools around the Inland Northwest celebrated the first day back from summer break. Starting very early in the morning, seniors at Lewis and Clark High School kicked off their first day with their annual senior sunrise. Of course, it isn't the first day of school without a little trivia to get the neurons firing.
Okay, so in 1863, what memorable speech did Abraham Lincoln give during the dedication of the Soldiers National Cemetery?
It's something address. Like Gettysburg Address?
There we go, yes, okay, perfect. You win $20, not from me, but from this person later.
Asking some questions both students and staff should know.
Really quickly, who invented electricity?
Edison. No.
I can't even think right now. It's too early.
It's Benjamin Franklin. Somebody got it, and the collective group did get it. Despite there being some tired faces at every school we visited, there was no one more excited for this first day of school than the students at Audubon Elementary.
Oh, I love lunch recess. It's literally my favorite part of the day. Lunch recess. Lunch.
Most excited. So lunch is a big hit. Okay, fine. If all three of you guys love lunch so much, what's your favorite lunch here?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese?
The chili.
You love the chili?
Yeah, the chili dogs.
Chili dogs, that's a good one, okay.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese and chili dogs here at Audubon Elementary School, big hit for everybody.
Yeah, it's good.
However, no group had a cooler welcome to the school year than Glover Middle School, who started the year off on a high note. Literally. Glover staff say the band is made up of students who wanted to come down early and inspire their peers to rock this school year. Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week all across the Inland Northwest, so let's help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
There has been a mass deportation of federal employees out of the CDC.
Uncertainty revolving around the CDC after the director was fired, and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. removed all 17 members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices.
Because the CDC's ACIP was disbanded and replaced, we've lost a little faith in the ability to maintain a rigorous evaluation of the current evidence, which is why the Western States Health Alliance is forming in order to create local recommendations.
Now there's a new alliance between Oregon, Washington, and California called the West Coast Health Alliance.
We are here because our communities deserve clear and transparent communication about vaccines, communication that is grounded in science, not ideology.
This alliance meant to serve as a regional response and provide recommendations to residents on immunizations,
so that we can start to have local recommendations using trusted sources such as the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the Infectious Disease Specialists of America.
This also follows recent announcements by the FDA that include new restrictions on who can get the COVID vaccine.
So right now, CDC has not weighed in, ACIP has not met. We only know what was signaled by the FDA direction.
We want people who want to get the vaccine to be able to get the vaccine. We don't want to have any barriers, whether it's costs or based on restrictions that are coming down from the CDC.
How this would work in terms of insurance coverage is still being sorted out.
Our goal is to ensure continued access to vaccines with no out-of-pocket costs to consumers.
Glocks are among the best-selling handguns in the country, a fact the city of Seattle says contributes to their danger. Now the city attorney wants to force the company to make their popular handguns more safe.
Oh, there you go.
Modified handguns are becoming increasingly common across the United States, including in Seattle. In May, investigators believe attackers used a modified Glock to kill 3 people in Pioneer Square. Seattle police reports that in 2024, there were 38 incidents involving a modified handgun. That's nearly twice as many compared to the year before. Now City Attorney Ann Davison is targeting the popular gun manufacturer.
When Chief Barnes became Chief of Police, I asked him, what else could I do to help support making our streets safer in Seattle? And the first thing he said was to eliminate Glock switches.
The city of Seattle is demanding Glock change the gun's design and make it harder to modify the weapon into a machine gun using what's called a switch.
The important thing to do is to hold corporations accountable who put public safety at risk.
The lawsuit bases its argument on state public nuisance laws and claims Glock knows its pistols are being exploited. The suit also names 3 local retailers that partnered with Glock. One of them called the lawsuit virtue signaling and a waste of time over the phone.
Seattle police have traced guns that were recovered in crime scenes that were converted with a switch to those retailers.
We found lawsuits against gun manufacturers are rarely successful, largely because federal law shields them from liability when their products are used in crimes. But City Attorney Ann Davison says that typical legal defense does not apply in this case.
Well, I'm not suing any other gun manufacturers. This is specific to the Glock design, which makes it uniquely susceptible to being converted within minutes from a semi-automatic to a fully automatic.
This comes as other cities and states sue Glock for contributing to safety issues. All of those lawsuits are still pending. In Seattle, I'm Christian Balderas, King 5 News.
Jose Cruz Estrada was born in Mexico and moved to the United States in 2003 at a young age. He's a father, a small business owner, and a wildland firefighter. About 2 weeks ago, he was called up to help with the Bear Gulch fire on the Olympic Peninsula.
His position on there is he's a sawyer, so he uses his chainsaw, cutting up brushes and felling trees.
That's Oscar, Jose's younger brother. On Wednesday, as fire crews were awaiting orders, several federal Border Patrol agents,
They just showed up, demanded papers.
Border Patrol says agents were asked by the Bureau of Land Management to verify fire crew rosters. 2 of the 44 people checked were found to be in the country illegally. Both are from Oregon. Jose Cruz Estrada had a prior removal order stemming from a 2013 drug bust. He was deported, re-entered the country, and deported again. Oscar says his brother came back in 2019 and has remained out of trouble.
Obviously, he came back, and since he's been back, I've seen him differently. I mean, the first thing he almost did was create his own business. Secondly, I can find people to attest that, he hasn't been in the same activities as before.
In the almost week since his brother's arrest, he says it's been an up and down experience.
For me personally, my biggest fear is, just my brother going back and then just not having any of us there. He has a son here. He has a business here that he's worked on for a while now.
He also worries about what's next.
He hasn't really heard much. We haven't really heard much other than they're just holding them there.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we want to remind you that you can get the latest newscasts and weather forecasts anytime on KREM 2 Plus. It's free to watch and download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and on Apple TV. Now, here's one more story before we go.
Well, it's always a very strong crowd for the beef counts distributions that are hosted first in the spring and then every September. I was going to say then in the fall. Today does not feel like fall. It's very hot out here and the volunteers have been amazing. Before we get to a very exciting check presentation, because obviously a lot of money goes into buying food, buying beef for these distributions and other things throughout the year. But I want to show you a little bit behind me what's happening there. The distribution, people not only get beef, which is the centerpiece of the meal, but they get a huge box of food filled with fruits, vegetables, there's bread and pasta and just lots of good food, and we love seeing that. They had about 300 people sign up because you have to sign up for the food distribution, but they brought more food than that. So I'm going to talk to Drew on my left here from Second Harvest. It's like I kind of follow you around a little bit.
Yeah, hi Laura. Yeah, thanks for being here today. Yeah.
Great day.
Yeah, wonderful day. Really appreciative of the turnout for everybody, the hosts, and of course the generous folks at the Beef Commission supporting.
That's right. Today is, of course, we're celebrating beef counts and the beef distribution. Let's talk a little bit about needs, specifically for items like beef, which folks may not see very often.
Yeah, protein, dairy products, and all these wonderful items that are donated are really in high need. It's the thing we hear about most often, and those centerpiece proteins like beef just make a huge difference. And so we're really grateful for that support and to be able to share it with folks today.
All right, so this is part of a big partnership. You've got the ranchers, the beef families. That is the centerpiece of all of this, of course, that make all of this happen. The Beef Commission, you've got Second Harvest, Rosars, Agri-Beef, raising money to make sure that people have the food they need. So we have a special check presentation. We have a local rancher, Inslee. Hi. Do you ranch?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about ranching?
All the cows and all the horses.
They're beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. She is holding the $50,000 check. Amazing. What does this do for Second Harvest and for our community.
Yeah, we're so grateful for the support. We always say it's the first harvest that makes the second harvest possible, and a gift like this is going to mean we can supply hundreds of mobile markets with beef throughout the year. So it just makes a huge difference. And on behalf of Second Harvest and most importantly families facing hunger, we're just incredibly grateful for that support.
Well, thanks for everything you guys do. I don't know why we're shaking hands. We're getting very formal here at Beef Count. Hey, can we get a round of applause, a cheer for the ranching families? We're so grateful for all that you do and bringing this amazing money and all this beef behind me, which is underneath. They're keeping it cool behind me. All right, I'll send it back to you.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching KREM 2 News Week in Review.